5 strokes around are hiding in 3 places you're probably never practicing. The Canadian Open just wrapped up, and while everyone was watching birdie putts and impossible saves, something quieter was happening on the range and practice greens. The drills those players run before every round, irons, putting, scrambling, are not complicated. They target the exact 3 spots where weekend golfers bleed shots without even realizing it. By the end of this, you'll have 3 drills you can run on your next range session. Each one takes under 10 minutes. Together, they go after the stuff that actually determines your score. And the part that surprises most golfers, none of this requires changing your swing. Here's an honest question. What did your last range session look like? If you're like most weekend golfers, you warmed up with some irons, hit a bucket of drivers, then called it a day. Maybe you hit 3 putts before walking to the first tee. Think about the shots that actually cost you strokes in your last round. It probably wasn't your driver. It was that iron that came out thin on the par 4. The 6-footer you missed for par. The chip that ran 12 feet past the hole when you just needed to get up and down. The Canadian Open made this clear. The players who contended weren't all long. They were precise with their irons, automatic inside 8 feet, and they scrambled out of trouble at a rate that looked almost unfair. That formula, solid irons, sharp putting, reliable scrambling, works at every level of golf. The pros have just drilled these 3 things so many times that they do it without thinking. The reason most weekend golfers never close that gap has nothing to do with talent. It's practice habits. You're working on what feels good, not what costs you shots. This video fixes that. Start with irons, because where your iron lands determines everything that follows on each hole. The most common iron problem at the weekend level is a swing bottom that's in the wrong place. Your low point, the bottom of your swing arc, is landing behind the ball instead of in front of it. That's what produces thin contact, fat contact, and that scooping motion through impact. Tour pros hit down and through the ball. Most amateur swings try to help the ball into the air. The fix is a drill you can set up in 2 minutes. Grab a 7-iron and an alignment stick. Push the stick into the turf about 2 feet in front of your ball, leaning away from you at roughly 45 degrees. Your only job is to miss the stick with the club on the downswing. That target forces your swing arc to bottom out forward in front of where the ball was, which is exactly where it needs to be. Hit 20 balls. Don't watch where the ball goes. Watch where you're taking the divot. Common mistake, widening your stance trying to hit down. Don't. Keep your setup normal. The cue that works is feeling your chest staying over the ball at impact rather than hanging back on your right side as the club comes through. One more thing about this drill, when the divot starts appearing in the right spot, you'll feel a compression through the ball you haven't felt before. The contact sounds different. That's the feedback. Chase that sound. But here's what nobody tells you about fixing your iron contact. It also straightens out your shot shape. A lot of pulls and blocks come from the same early low point issue. Fix the bottom of the arc and several problems clear up at once. Now the putting drill, and this one will feel uncomfortable at first, which means it's working. The greens at the Canadian Open were running fast. The players who made cuts were making almost everything inside 8 feet. That's the scoring zone. Miss inside 8 feet and you're leaking bogeys on holes you should par. Make them consistently and your handicap moves. The drill is called gate putting. All you need are 2 tees and a flat 6-footer. Push the tees into the green just wider than your putter face. One near the ball, one about a foot in front of it. Now stroke the putt without touching either tee. What the gate exposes is whether your face is actually square at impact. Most golfers open or close it slightly through the stroke and never feel it until they miss. The tees make the feedback instant. Clip a tee and you know immediately what happened and which direction. 30 putts from 6 feet. If you're making 80% or better without touching a tee, step back to 8 feet. If you're struggling at 6, stay there until you find the groove. The reason this carries onto the course, you're not thinking about mechanics when you stand over a real putt in a round. You shouldn't be. But gate putting builds the muscle memory so your hands do the right thing automatically, especially under pressure, when most golfers start manipulating the putter through the ball. That automatic face control is what separates the golfers who drain 6-footers from the ones who call themselves bad putters. Now scrambling, and this one might save you the most shots the fastest. Scrambling is your ability to get up and down from off the green. Tour pros do it at around 60%. The average weekend golfer does it at under 40%. That gap is not about technique. It's almost entirely about landing zone control. Watch a tour player chip and you'll notice something. They're not looking at the hole when they set up. They've already picked a specific landing spot, roughly the size of a dinner plate, and they're committing to it. The ball lands there, releases, and ends up near the hole. It looks simple because they've trained this one's skill until it's automatic. Your version of this drill requires no special equipment. Find a chipping area with some fringe and green to work with. Put a head cover, tee, or coin down about 3 feet onto the green from the fringe edge. Now chip 10 balls with the goal of landing each one on that exact spot. Here's the key. Don't look at the hole. Look at the landing zone the entire time. After 10 balls, check where they finished. If your landing zone was accurate, they should be clustered near each other regardless of where the hole is. That tells you your landing spot calculation is off, and the adjustment is to move the landing target, not to change your swing. That adjustment, choosing a different landing spot based on where you want the ball to finish, is the actual skill. It's what weekend golfers think is natural talent in a good chipper. It isn't. It's a trained habit, and this drill builds it. Common mistake. People start adjusting their swing when the shots aren't finishing close enough. The swing stays the same. Vary the landing zone, not the stroke. Run this drill for 10 minutes before your full swing work next time you practice. Fresh eyes, fresh hands. You'll start seeing the landing zone instinctively during real rounds without having to think about it. Here's what you're taking away. 1. The forward low point drill with your 7-iron. Moves your swing bottom in front of the ball, fixes thin and fat contact, stops the scoop. 2. Alignment sticks and 20 balls. 2. Gate putting from 6 feet. Trains your putter face to stay square at impact where the scoring happens. 2 tees, 30 putts, instant feedback. 3. Landing zone chipping. You're not chipping it close. You're landing it on a specific target, and the finish distance follows. Choose your spot, commit, adjust the spot, not the swing. 30 minutes total for all 3. Run them twice a week for the next month. Your scorecard will look different not from swing theory, but because you're practicing the 3 things that actually decide rounds. The pros at the Canadian Open weren't doing anything mysterious. They were just doing these basics better than everyone else. Now you've got the same drills. If you want to run the iron drill and the alignment drill at home between range sessions, the Callaway alignment sticks are the right tool, $15, and they work across half a dozen drills. I've linked the best pair I've found in the description, https://www.amazon.com/dp/B07Q4M62V8. Tag equals CMS 200-2600-20. Subscribe and you'll get a new tip every week. Next video breaks down the 4-second pre-shot routine change that tour players make when the pressure is highest, and most amateurs never use it. Which of the 3 is your weakest right now? Irons, putting, or scrambling? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. Save this video so the drills are ready next time you head to the range.